Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Planet Nerdtooine. I am your host, the Mr. Wilson of the comic book community. I am here to drop the best knowledge and have a great time talking about comics. We're going to have a great little interview here in a second, but first, let me bring on my co-host, Year of the Collector, because we've got some things to talk about that reference from last episode. So we spoke about the prices of books like White Sky and Dork and the speculator market, and that's what's driving these high prices. So, as many people know, I am a comic book writer, and I have a book called Here Walks Monsters. We had a New York Comic Con exclusive at this past New York Comic Con. It was a special edition that had the full first issue, 5-page preview. It was a great cover. Someone on eBay put up a copy for $100 apparently, and got the whole thing, all the description. There was like 15 errors in the description. It said it was a print. It wasn't. Said it was based out of Los Angeles and Echo Park, which not a single character in the entire book mentioned is from or was anywhere near Los Angeles. It all happened in Florida. And it was just horrible, but it was, someone bought it for an expensive price, and now there's another one up there for, it's the one of the artist proof prints. There's only 20 of them, triple signed, for $123. I have one of those right now for $40 on my Whatnot marketplace. How do I get someone to pay that much for one of my books? But what are your thoughts on that, Year?
Um, I'm not one for people. I'm not one to put down people for trying to make their money on the second market. However, as a consumer and reader, in order for you to avoid falling into the traps of FOMO and the prices of the second market, you have to pre-order your books.
Yep.
Do yourself a favor. Go to the previews. Go on Leave of Comic Geek and search the upcoming number ones. And if it calls to your attention, if it sounds that's something that tickles your fancy, go ahead and pre-order it before the final order cutoff, so you don't find yourself in a new comic books day hearing about a comic book that's popping up that everybody's liking or that is the next big thing, and you go to your local comic book store to hope to see if you can get a copy off the shelf, and they don't have one,
Or
and
they
you
have one
missed
for
out.
more expensive than it should be on release day.
Or if you have one of them slimy local comic book shops that sells books on the day of release for whatever they're going on the internet instead of going for retail price, then you are screwed, right?
Right.
So do yourself a favor, check previews, look up those free previews that they give for Image, for Dynamite, for IDW, for DC, for Marvel. Those are free, and when you search and you see something you like, right, when you're flipping the pages, it has the FOC date right there.
Final order
Call
cutoff.
you call your LCS and let them know, hey, book whatever, number whatever, cover whatever, add it to my subscription, add it to my pull box, pre-order it for me, and avoid falling into the craziness that is this, I don't know, third wave of the speculation market.
Yeah. And not only that, just to take it one little bit step further, then we'll bring on our guest for the day, because I know he's got some opinions on this too. Do some research. Not only the sellers, because I mean, if you would have like put my book up there and had that horrible AI spit out all that horribleness, you could have verified all that in literally not even 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And that is one thing that bothered me the most, that it was misrepresented as an artist print, like a poster, and that was a lot of issues. And I hope if the person who bought that sees this, please reach out to me directly, because I personally, as the creator, want to make that right. Because I think you overpaid for that, and I'll be happy to send you. I want to send you something from my collection, my PC, to make up for that, because you were misled. Simple as that. But like I said, literally, just, you could have figured all of the information out. I mean, that issue, the one from New York Comic Con, is literally in freaking Key Collectors that everybody uses. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big fan of key collectors myself, but it's in there. It's like it's literally one Google search. And with
If
that, let's bring
and if
on TS, because I
yeah.
know he's got some opinions and some thoughts on
Yeah,
this.
so go ahead and get your shovels. We got here the writer of the greatest thing to come out in 2026, the Digger, T.S. Luther. How are we doing today, friend?
Thank you so much, dudes. My name's TS and I write comics.
He said the
and,
thing. He said
and
the thing.
I gotta sell my copy of Here Walks Monsters real quick because apparently they're going, man. Mine's kind of rough because I've read it like 40 times when you invited me on.
Well,
I also bought mine from eBay, but mine didn't cost $40.
Before we say anything else, I want to clear the air. Anyone who says Here Walks Monsters has been optioned is absolutely lying. I trust me when
I heard Here
you.
Walks Monsters was gonna be on Tubi in like the next 2 years.
Damn.
So it
Yeah,
got
I'm
auctioned.
pretty sure season 1 is on Freevee right now.
Right now.
Not even
Animated.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, no,
Not even on
animated too.
Tubi. Damn.
Yeah.
That's so wild. I mean, but it happens. Like, I got messaged 2 times today. So issue 2 is selling out pretty quickly of the Digger. Issue 1 though is sold out in most places. You can still find a copy here and there, but you can't order any more copies from the distributor. And so somebody really wanted issue 2 yesterday, found a copy, bought issue 1 on eBay. They messaged me. It was $40. They were so excited, and I sent them the link to my website. It's $7 there. And so like I'm so sorry. Like, always check the creators, especially if it's an indie book like that, or the publisher's website. A lot of publishers who are indie sell the book themselves on their websites. You know, like Marvel and DC aren't going to do that, but like Invader Comics does that, Mad Cave does that. Like, you can get those copies still. And then same thing, I had somebody who was selling it on eBay because they said that I got optioned because they got confused because there's that Tom Cruise movie called Digger. And it had a picture of Tom Cruise next to the Digger. I was like, that is not.
No, that's
cool.
That's it right there.
It's Luther. You know what that is?
It got auctioned.
That's us
Tom
manifesting
Cruise is behind the project.
Tom Cruise is gonna play Mr. Smith in the live adaptation.
The Digger.
Yeah, man. If he could play John Smith, man, that would be pretty cool. But I mean, again, like you said, man, like, I appreciate the hustle. Everyone's got to get paid. I get it. I'm broke as a joke too, but like, people are getting misled. So like you said, just do your research. And even if you don't want to go to Lead Comic Geek or something, you can go right to like Lunar, where most comics are distributed. It'll show you what the price is supposed to be. It'll show you all that stuff, like direct from the horse's mouth. Because I know some people don't like League. I don't know why I love that website.
Yeah,
maybe it's because I'm on there. Like, it's been my favorite website since you guys pointed out that I'm on there. But like, I get that some people don't like to use it. So like, you can go right to the distributor. You can go right to the publisher's website. Most publishers will still have the listing for it. So if you feel like, hey, $60 is a lot for a comic, $100 is a lot, and it's not from Image Comics, if it's not Dork #1, maybe double check, because that stuff's wild, man.
It's already done filming. The book just came out and it's already done filming. That's how much they believed in it. Is that they got the movie made.
Yeah, you'll see a much better background over here if Tom Cruise had a movie coming out from my book.
My collection stuff, you won't see it anymore because it's in storage.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I have maybe like a few boxes here next to me, but like all my collectibles, my action figures, my posters is all put away. So now y'all gonna have to deal with just this backgrounds. I'm just gonna have the silliest background every time we get on.
You changed it every week, so I'm honestly like excited to see like what's it gonna be this week. Like, I'm not even.
What is it right now? What is
This is Flavor Girls from Boom Studios.
Oh, nice. I haven't read that one. I'm gonna add that to my list right now.
Yeah,
is it all ages friendly?
Yeah. I'm
gonna buy it for my daughter right now. She loves Magical Girls.
Bro, this is freaking awesome. It made like number 5 or 6 on my top 10 comics of 2025.
Oh, heck yeah. Yep. All right. Purchasing. Forget the podcast. I gotta buy some stuff.
Wait, because Year actually reads comics. I mean, I was beginning to wonder because it took him so long to do his 2025 best.
Bro,
I was on that list, or no, I wasn't. I was on the recent one. So, like, I'm not gonna talk smack. He does these awesome write-ups, and I can send them to people, and they go, "Oh my gosh, you're on this website." So I'm not gonna talk shit about his write-ups.
Bro, did you do a write-up for my book? Here, issue 1's on League of Comic Geeks.
Probably not. I did.
After the episode, we fighting cross country digital.
Hold on. I did make videos to promote your Kickstarter for the Ashcan and for the full issue 1. And I went and met you in person, so cut me some slack.
All of that is 100% true. I can't even pretend for the bit that it's not.
And I told you, hey, I'm waiting for you to launch the Kickstarter for issue 2.
Issue 2.
It's looking more and more like I'm going to be on a hunt for a new letterer to get it done. It's been a struggle. This issue 2 has been very hard to make. I've made it like basically like a giant Easter egg. So it was a lot of intricate little details I needed, and then so the art took longer, and now I'm waiting on the lettering. And
I'm gonna go ahead and confirm this for you. You need a new letterer.
Listen, I'm working on it. I have asked a few people to find me one.
I got you, dog. I hook you up. I know some letterers.
I see. I know some people that know some people. That's like my existence right now.
I don't know if you know this, but I write comics, and
that's right. You're the guy who writes comics. I
got a couple coming out right now. I can get you some good letterers. I may know a guy.
A few. Now, speaking
if it's the guy the lettering for the Digger, we're money, because let me tell you. Hey. Give me some credit. I don't do the segways. That's typically Nerdtooine job. But bro, okay. First off, we've been trying to have you back, right? We had you last year. We talked the Digger #1. It finally debuted in stores in January. Sold out, right, at the retail level. So congratulations. I know
Thank you, man.
That must have feel like a huge weight off your shoulders.
When I get that check,
Actually, you know what? I bet you it felt more like a bunch of weight on his shoulders, because now he's got to, in his head, he's like, all right, now I got to do it again.
Oh man, yeah, it's definitely like that. I mean, I really appreciate it, and it's definitely a little bit of both. Like, I was excited that it was selling, but what does that mean? The problem is when you're in indie comics, unless you're writing for like Marvel and DC yet, like there's always a new goalpost. It's always moving. So the second it's sold out in stores, it's like, okay, maybe it'll sell out at the distributor. Oh, awesome, it sold out at the distributor. Now we got to get stores to ask for it again, and then maybe I'll get a second printing. So like there's always something new to like move towards, and then I gotta hope it's doing the same thing for issue 2, and then I'm advertising issue 3. I'll celebrate the win in like 20 years when we're talking about it in like past tense, after the book's been out and Tom Cruise is starring in the movie.
Do you
then we'll be able to, like,
remember back in the day when we spoke to you about the Digger?
It's been 84 years, like the lady from Titanic. Like that's when I'll be celebrating. But I appreciate, like.
Well, but listen, I'm gonna have to give you some tough love, just like I do.
Oh man,
because you went from basically being the distributor on a direct market type of basis in your previous published books, right? Like Kickstarter campaigns, crowdfunding campaigns. You have the book, you get some crowdfunding, you print it, and you send it directly to the customer, right? But now you have a book that is published, that's put on the shelves in comic book stores, right? And I'm guessing that felt different. That was a new challenge. I'm guessing here I don't write shit. Like that's
yes.
You guys.
Yes,
that's you guys.
I'm telling you, one of these days I'm gonna break you, and you're gonna be like,
I know,
why?
man. It's gonna be so good. And he's gonna make us look bad too.
He will. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Listen. It was like, for me, like as a friend, as a reader, as a consumer, it was cool for me to like go to my local store and talk to my guy. Say, hey, pre-order this book for me and add it to my subscriptions, right? And he didn't ask me any follow-up questions. He didn't ask me anything. He was like, oh, okay, never heard of it, but oh, here it is. Okay, you got it. And I come back and, they hand me my books. I get them and I see your copy and I'm like, hell yeah, right? And then I do a little browsing just to make sure I didn't leave anything out. Maybe something new came out and I'm interested. And I see copies of the Digger on the shelf.
Oh,
I was like, bro, I actually know this guy. And I was just standing there waiting for people to swim by to like be looking. I was like, you see that right there? My friend did that.
Dude, you're the best, man. That's so
That-
cool. I like it is different. Like that part is so awesome. It's a little bit stunted here because I could not get any of the local shops to do that. I had to beg them to pre-order me a copy, and then they didn't pre-order the rest of the ones for me. Like I know several people who went into the shop yesterday or on Wednesday to try to get their copy that they did add to their pull list, and they didn't pull them. The shops here just were not interested in this indie book or anything from Invader, even when people were asking for it. But what has been cool, as much as that was disappointing, like all the others, there's been so many shops that are sending me messages and pictures. And because I've been on TikTok and I meet people like you guys who are excited for me, I get to see it. I get to hear those stories. And that's been so cool. The amount of people who are excited to see the Digger on the shelf because they've heard the whole story. Like they've been there. You guys remember when I was doing those pitches where I was like, hey, I got this book. I don't know what to do with it. So I'm just like putting those really crappy trailers on TikTok. And then like, now they can go and find that book in the store. That part is cool for me. And I the problem is like now I want the next thing. Like I want to make sure the Digger sells well. I want to make sure that it, the publisher Invader Comics is happy. I want to make sure those shops who bought copies it sells there so I can make them money so somebody else will let me make another comic book. So like I feel like I'm always on that treadmill, but I want to be excited because this is fucking cool.
It's real. It's real. Like all that time pitching in and talking about it and brainstorming and working and dealing with a publisher for the first time, right?
Yeah,
and looking into like a new, like getting into like a new venue in the business, right? Because like being self-published and crowdfunding versus like now dealing with publishers and distributors and local stores, retailers, like, bro, congrats to fucking nations, okay? Like, fucking breathe, like, fucking drink it in, man. Like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. We like personally know so many people that venture into comic books and don't have not even any level of success. That they don't their books don't get funded, even crowdfunding, right? People don't.
I don't know what that's like, but.
No, but we know people like that. We know people like that. You have two successful campaigns. I'm definitely not talking about you.
I was just being petty.
We recently had listen. We recently had a conversation about one of the managers in their initiative put out a message in the Nerd Initiative Discord. Hey, listen, this is a friend of mine. They make good comics. Today's their last day of their Kickstarter campaign, and they're still not funded. And this is people that go to big conventions that have a name. I'm not gonna say who it is, right? Because I don't want to put their business out there. But they were struggling, and they are like they do this right as a profession. They have like a whole catalog under their name, and for some reason, this latest project didn't hit the mark, didn't find a crowd, didn't find a market, and people in their initiative was like pulling favors, asking like the other contributors in their initiative to like help out. Right? I was like, bro, it's hard. It's hard.
It's next to impossible, and that's the thing. I try not to take it for granted. Like I want more, and I want to keep doing it, and I want to keep getting better at it, and move on to bigger venues and stuff. But I'm so thankful for as far as I've gotten. Like I tell people all the time, like to make it this far is a gift because like you said, so many people can't. And so many people like it doesn't work out for. And a lot of the reason why the Digger is happening now and the reason why I have gigs coming up is because I outlasted those people doing it the other way. And that kind of sucks. It feels good that I'm succeeding a little bit, but I do feel bad that it's on the shoulders of other people as they didn't quite make it through. And like so much of this business is attrition. It's just about
Yes.
outlasting everybody.
Oh my
And
God, is that facts?
It's tough, man. Like, and one of the reasons why I can do it is I have a beautiful wife who said, "Hey, I think you're a good writer. Why don't you quit your day job, and we'll skip by, but go for this." Most people don't have a partner like that.
No.
You know, that's tough to do. I think maybe you're the only other person. You know, like I said, you know, like it's tough to.
Definitely not me. No, like legit. Like I said, you're a meme earlier.
No,
like,
bro,
you know,
I work for a
that
living. Like,
legitimately,
I work for
legitimately, World War III is more likely than me getting into a stable relationship. Like that I was like, that is scary. How factual that is. Like, that is much more
a strong word. You know, like listen,
I could drop stable off there and it's still the same sentence.
But like I know that like I'm lucky in it, and then like when I did Hellion and Bash, I brought on an investor. They wanted to start a business, and basically they helped me start a production house to get some of my indie comics going, mostly because they believed in me. It wasn't because like they had $1 million and they thought they were making any money. It was just they liked my writing, so we got to go. And you have to depend on that kind of thing in comics.
Absolutely.
And you have to not let them down. I think that's why it's hard for me to celebrate and go, "Oh, this is perfect," because you have to keep that going, because you only add more people to that pile that you have to feed, that you have to make sure get paid. So
yes.
Like before, when it was self-publishing, I had to make sure I got the artist paid and the letterer paid. And then when I was self-publishing plus, like when I had an investor come on, I got to make sure I make enough to get them paid. And then, you know, you bring on a publisher, like an actual publisher, like Invader Comics employs like 6 people. And so like they got to make enough to make the money, and like they don't make a lot off of it, but like they have to be able to fund the printing, otherwise it comes out of their pockets. And then you have the shops, so now you got to make sure that those shops who took a chance on you, not just because like they're going to go broke because they bought 10 copies of the Digger, but because you want them to be happy they bought 10 copies of the Digger. You want them to champion you and go, well, it did sell well, so let's get a second printing, let's do it again, let's do an issue 2, let's buy the next T.S. Luther book, the next Sam Gudilin book, the next Invader Comics book. So like the pressure just multiplies every time. And luckily, I think that we have a good enough book here that I think people are going to enjoy it, whether you like Indiana Jones or cat and mouse thrillers, or even just like a fun graphic novel, because it's a good contained story. Like there's something in here. And a lot of that was reverse engineered, because I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get another chance in that bat to make another comic book. I have to make sure that this one goes well. So maybe I get to do it again. And if not, I can hang my head high and go, I went out with the Digger. It was awesome. People dug it, you know? And so I'm thankful that you guys enjoy it, because then I get to come on your show again, you know?
Well, listen, and you know, as someone who is still doing it all themselves and has a hard time accepting when I've actually accomplished something or anything of anything good that I've done, it's like, no, that's horrible.
It's the Midwest in us, man, you know?
From me to you, let me tell you how amazing it is that you have come, because we thought Hellion and Bash was an amazing book. Like, and granted, it is. It very much is a very great book. However, the Digger is on a level that, and I've said it before when we talked about it previously, I will put the Digger up against, in terms of quality, anything that's out right now. It is the story, and we'll get more into it in a little bit, but like there were parts of the story, as someone who literally almost predicts every outcome and everything he ever watches or reads, I was surprised. And I'm like, he got me. Oh my God, that's awesome!
Messaged me about that, specifically with issue 2, is a lot of people messaging me about like, oh man, I just didn't see any of this coming. And to me, maybe it's just because like I'm in it, right? Like I write this thing every single day. that, like, to me, I kind of thought issue 2 was the most paint by numbers of it all. I'm like, well, everyone gets it. They're on the road. You got to have stuff happen. You know, like, to me, it just seemed like this is the most inevitable stuff to happen. And this is the one. People who have read the whole series are still messaging me going, yeah, issue 2, though, still didn't expect any of that stuff. And that's wild to me. But I'm in it. Like I said, like, I stare at these things. I reread each issue about 100 times because
That's a low
when I
number.
go in to write the next one, I got to make sure I'm hinting at all the right stuff. The Easter eggs are there. It all connects. No one catches me in a piece of continuity. And so, like, you know, Robert Kirkman always did that. Like, people asked how Invincible at issue 144 felt like it was inevitable, felt like everything just lined up. Like, did you always know how it was going to end? And he would be like, no, I just reread it 1,000 times to go, well, I got to make sure this is in here because people are going to say that. It's that easy. It's not a magic trick. But so, like, I reread these things all the time. So I think sometimes to me, I go, no, it's still good. I like what I wrote, but I think it's pretty obvious where it's going. So it makes me feel so good that you guys had twists in there.
Well, so now, at least we can get more into it a little bit, but what it did for me, especially issue 2, was I thought I knew exactly where it was going. And I was right, but you tricked me at the end to making me think I was wrong. So for me, it was like, oh, what? Oh, like,
and I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it yet, but issue 2, so if issue 1 is the setup, I pitched issue 1 to Invader, to Sam, to my wife, basically is that story we never got with Indiana Jones, right? Like, how did he meet Short Round? In Temple of Doom, he's just there. They're pals, and he tells that story about how he tried to pickpocket him, and they've been friends ever since. And so that is the story of issue 1. It's just as with a much worse guy than Indiana Jones, right?
Right.
And so that's the simple one. That's the setup. They're going to go on this mission together. They're going to go find the Olmec ruins. Issue 2 is where the shit hits the fan. It's where you see just how scary the Digger really is. You get to find out why he's in Mexico in the first place. And you get a good fight scene, which there's no fight scenes in issue 1. There's just a lot of blood. And so in issue 2, you get to really see what he's made of. And so to me, writing action scenes for an entire issue, which is, if you read mainstream comics, that's the majority of comic books.
Yeah.
If you pick up a Marvel or DC, you're getting 15 pages of a fight and then 5 pages of exposition.
And 12 pages of ads.
Right.
Sorry.
I was just talking about, like,
that just slipped out. I didn't mean
you got to put a double-page Snickers spread halfway through. Like, otherwise it's not really an American comic, you know? But like, I felt like it was so obvious where it was going, and it was so paint by numbers because I had never written an issue 2. Not really. I mean, I wrote Helena Bass issue 2, but that's such a different series. That's a graphic novel I broke apart into, you know, different things. I had never really written an issue 2 like this that I knew was going to be published and seen by everybody with the idea that I know where the ending is. And so it was a much different beast. I was talking to you offline. Issue 1 took me, I'd say, about a week. Once everything was said and done, once me and Sam knew what we were doing and the concept art was together, it took me about a week to write. Issue 2 took me a month because there was so much pressure, because issue 2 was written after Invader Comics said we're in. So it was the first time I had that much weight on me, and I messaged Sam saying, hey, we got a deal. And he said, great, send me the script. And there was no script. It was so scary. So there was a lot of pressure. So the fact that issue 2 is resonating with people, I think the weight is now finally coming. Like you said, there was so much more weight after issue 1 selling out. I'm like, oh God. I think I feel a little bit better because I think issue 3 is my favorite of the entire series. And I think issue 4 is a better script. So like, I can only say that's going to get better as it goes. So I feel so much relief that people are enjoying it, because there's a general rule in storytelling: unless your ending is terrible, if their butt is still in the seat after the halfway point, they're gonna like the movie. Unless you like terribly drop the ball, you know, like, or do some dramatic twist like Shyamalan style, and like the aliens are demons and the kid was dead the whole time and somebody doesn't like it, like, you're gonna be fine. So in my opinion, I won. I did it. Unless people really, really hate Sam's art all of a sudden, which is impossible to do because he's the best to do it. I've completed my mission. So I'm happy. I just need to get it over the finish line, which means if you're tired of hearing from me, man, you got another thing coming, because I got to do this for 2 more issues. I'm not going to shut up about it. I was on a Discord the other day with a bunch of other indie creators, and I was catching some flack because they were pitching their next book. They were asking for people to maybe write on the anthology. And I was like, I'm always down to write whatever. They're like, nah, not TS because he's too busy. He's got to keep marketing the Digger. He's always talking about it. And I'm like, but you have to. That's the only reason why it's selling this.
I don't know who these people are that you were talking with, but I will go out on the limb right now and say not a single nail one of them hasn't sold out issue 1.
They might, but like I do feel bad sometimes because I have the regular people, I have the people like you guys are my day ones. You've been following me since the beginning, and you were the first people to like have me on a show and like go like let's talk about this stuff. And I appreciate that you haven't gotten annoyed with me because listen, it goes all the time. Like they never stop. I know because I post them and I record them. I know my roommates are going, how many fucking TikToks did you record today? I heard, hey, my name's TS RA Comics about 1,000 times because I record them all in like a block session and throw it up there. But I am trying to live in the moment, but there's just so much more work to do. It's never done.
I get that too. And especially like you said, I when you get to that issue 2 and you put so much work into it, you want to take your foot off the gas and accept it and be so happy that it's done. But then that issue 3 is literally right behind you. You got to floor it because you got to keep going. That's the thing about
having a publisher is because so I got the email from Mike Perkins. Shout out to Mike Perkins. He's the editor-in-chief and owner of Invader Comics, or one of them. He's like the founder. And he messaged me, dude, issue 2 is selling out just as great. Like I'm proud of you. Keep up what you're doing. But issue 3's FOC is Monday. So if you like the same sentence, no space, and that's his job. Like no shade to Mike.
Absolutely.
Like that is the gig that I signed up for. But that's what I mean when people are like, "You're taking a minute." I'm like, "What minutes? There's no minutes. There's no time." Like I gotta get back to work. Like honestly, like I gotta hang up this call when we're done, and then I gotta go write some more because now that the Digger is selling well, Invader's going, what's the next book? And then there's like other publishers now who are like, I'd open up an email if T.S. Luther pitched something, and I have other books. There's stuff that I'm always working on. I have lots of friends that I want to make books with, but I still have to do more, and the iron's not always going to be hot, right? The Digger isn't always going to be on the tip of people's tongues, and right now it is. So if you're listening to this and you're an artist and you got good shit, message me. Let's get a book going, because I feel like no one's going to be asking about me in 6 months. Maybe the Digger sells well, maybe it wins an award or something. But right now is the time where I'm a commodity, so I'm trying to capitalize on it. And I don't know if you guys know this. I mean, you can see the Taj Mahal back here. I'm pretty loaded. But making comic books is expensive. So I don't have a million issue 1s fully completed waiting on the shelf back here to pitch to comic publishers. So now I'm also trying to leverage, hey, publishers are talking about me. I have some cash, like the book's selling well. Do you want to work with me? And I'm trying to leverage that with more artists. So like I said, if you're an artist and you want to make a book with the dude who wrote The Digger, like, come and talk. I know everyone wants to make a book with the guy who drew The Digger. Like, Sam Gudilin's phone has not stopped ringing, and that's long distance. He's in Russia. That's not a cheap phone call. But people want to work with that guy. And sometimes people remember that I wrote it. So if you want to work together, please hit me up. I'm out there.
So I'm sorry. I have to push back a little bit on that. If no one is talking about The Digger in 6 months, that means I'm fucking dead. Okay? That's first of all. And again, that's really all I had to push back on. And I'm just sitting here wishing, like, damn, why can't I be an artist as well? Because I would be like, end the podcast. I gotta go talk to TS right now. But
the thing is though, you wouldn't be as good of a writer. That's not true though, because I know so many awesome cartoonists. Like I think her name is Kate Wendell. She's doing The Devil in the Herd for Invader Comics. Yes. Have you guys had her on the show yet?
No, not yet. No. I definitely, that's a book. I saw that book, was like, ooh.
Get her on the show. She's awesome. But
we're having
that till June.
Yeah, we're having the creators of Do Not Disturb next week.
Oh, dude, I was just talking to them.
Yep.
Jared, dude, like, no, those guys are awesome. Like, that book is great. Also selling out. They just don't talk about stuff as much as I do on TikTok. Issue 2 of one of their covers is completely gone at the distributor.
That's awesome.
They were messaging me. I was going, hey, I wasn't able to get copies because the local comic book shop want Invader Comics, and I was like, I can't get a copy. Can you send it to me? He's like, no, I can't. It's sold out. And I was like, why aren't you posting about this? How come like everyone's heard about the freaking Digger? Like I tell them all the time, I was like, sold out everywhere. Like even before it's sold out, I'm like, this is probably sold out. You start shouting to the rooftops. Like you need to be telling people about this. So Do Not Disturb, awesome book. Absolutely. They have Artillery that just came out. So like Invader's going places now, which is really cool to be there at the ground floor. Like, but I will always like toot my own horn. I got them distribution in Canada and the UK with Universal because a bunch of shops were trying to pre-order the Digger and they couldn't because we weren't in Universal. We weren't distributed elsewhere. So they called Invader Comics themselves going, hey, we want to distribute you because so many people won't shut up about the Digger. And so that's how they got that deal. So I'll take my check, Invader Comics. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I earned that one. But like they're getting bigger. They're not going to need a book from T.S. Luther soon because they're going to be signing some books. You remember when Mad Cave announced that they had like 15 licenses?
Yes.
Like, we're making a Speed Racer book. We're making a Dick Tracy book. Like it was just like randomly, like here's all these books plus their normal creator-owned stuff. I feel like Invader is going to be there next year. I feel like if I go back to them to go, hey, I have another book, they're gonna go, hey, but do you want to write like Beetleborgs? Like, do you want to do like whatever? Like, I was gonna say Thundar the Barbarian, but I think that is a new one. From
I got picked up already. But that's become the business model. Like a lot of the indie publishers, they do the creator owned IP stuff, right? Like the original comics, but even Image. They took on a lot of licenses, like like half of the Skybound imprint are licenses for like from like
the entire Energon universe.
Yeah, the whole Skybound Energon. Sorry, the whole Energon stuff is basically the 80s are back on comic books in.
And they just announced another one. Didn't they just do Mask? Then like it's only growing, which is like wild. And so like, and honestly, when people, I think there's some
Dynamite is doing a lot of like Disney comics, like Disney heroes, Disney villains, like licensings are taking over in comic books.
Like, I do see some people like who lament that a little bit in the indie space. They're like, well, I don't want to write, like Thundercats or whatever. And as a kid who grew up with all that stuff, like, it's a dream. People ask me a lot, like, what's your dream one? I'm like, any of them. I want to play with everybody's toys. Dude. That sounds so cool.
Darkwing Duck, I'm available.
Oh, dude, have you read the Darkwing Duck comic?
Dynamite.
Yeah, it's so good. I love Darkwing Duck. That would have been a dream. I think that's part of the issue when people ask me what would your dream ones be. They've already been done, right? Like, I can never do what Kyle Higgins did for Power Rangers, and that was the dream to do something like that, and they did it. And so there's a certain part of me that like I feel lucky that it wasn't me at bat because I don't think I could have done it as good. And so like I'm so happy to have gotten that before I was writing comics. So like there's a few that I would pitch on, but honestly, I love that those indie publishers are grabbing up those licenses. That's such a good way to break into the market. Like Mad Cave Speed Racer. I mean, Mad Cave was already going on the map. People were paying attention, but people who had never picked up a Mad Cave book were buying Speed Racer. Dick Tracy and Phantom and like that. I love that they were doing that, man. And like before that, I was the only person who was watching that old Billy Zane Phantom movie.
How dare you, sir? How dare you, sir? That is one of my favorite movies.
And Mama T.S. Luther. My mom is the one who loved that
and
movie,
just to prove that I'm not just saying that. Did you know that they had to film all the scenes where he took his cowl off at 2 separate times?
Yeah,
what they
just
did
like the Flash.
Was they had he first filmed it with his hair, and then they literally shaved his head bald, put it on, and then just spliced them together.
They called that the Phantom shot in the Flash every time they had to do the cowl coming off because it was that thing. Okay, so if we're talking about the Phantom, do you remember Alec Baldwin as the Shadow?
Yes, I will admit that like I don't remember the actual movie itself, but I remember that. And then or how about
Shadow Man?
Was not Shadow Man.
But the Sam Raimi one,
was it Shadow Man?
No, but it was
go with the bandages.
Yeah,
Sam
what was his name?
Raimi,
oh my god, I can't remember.
Superhero. We have the technology. We can do this.
It was like he had like 3 movies, something crazy.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I actually think Darkman, and I heard that there actually is a new Darkman in production.
I heard that too, which I'm so excited for. Like people, like my wife was asking me, she was like, "So you grew up on Marvel Comics? You had Archie and stuff. So like, why do you care about Phantom and the Shadow and Dick Tracy?" And I'm like, because
honey, sit down.
Movies of those.
Yeah,
like it took so long to get movies. Before Blade, you weren't getting a lot of that. Like we had Howard the Duck. And then, Hasselhoff as Captain America. You weren't getting that level. So stuff like the Phantom, that's as close as you're going to get. The Rocketeer,
Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher.
Dolph Lundgren is... Don't get me started on that. I'm the only person who owned that. We talked about that the other day. And we're like, I talk about Dolph Lundgren as Punisher, and they're like, what? That didn't happen. I'm like, it did, baby. Yes, they just erased it from time. If he doesn't show up in Secret Wars, I'm going to eat my shoe. Like, he needs to make it happen, man. I need to see him in He-Man as well, like in the new Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. Well, especially since Ray Stevenson passed away, too. Like, they don't really... It's either him or Thomas Jane.
I forgot that Ray Stevenson passed away. I can see Thomas Jane popping up. Like, he's always down to do stuff.
That would be so awesome. I love
it. But if Dolph Lundgren shows up as Punisher... I will be probably the only person cheering, maybe Nerdtooine, but I will go off. Like that will be incredible. And I talk about how I'm just like a fan of being a fan. Like I'm so into those fandoms. I'm part of the reason why the Sony Spider-Verse crap keeps coming out, because butts and seats day one. I saw Craven, baby. I saw Madam Web at midnight. Was there a midnight showing? Yes, there was. No one else was there, but I was.
I believe you.
Because I remember a time when there wasn't stuff like that.
Right,
man. Yeah, absolutely. No, people nowadays are absolutely spoiled. Because I remember, because someone was talking about, I saw someone like complaining about the new Star Wars movies and everything Disney.
Remember when we didn't have Star Wars for 30 years?
I was like, you don't understand what it was like to only have the originals. And no matter how bad
we also had the Christmas specials. We also had the Christmas specials, and
that does not exist. Fuck that. That one, no. Like, if there's any Star Wars property you can talk shit about that I'm not gonna be, I'd be like, well, hold on. There are some bright points. It's that damn Star Wars Christmas special. Luke on freaking goddamn Kashyyyk.
Oh man, that's so much fun. Life Day,
gotta get Chewie home to his wife for Life Day. What?
But like I've been such a fan of that stuff, and so being able to finally break into a way like, no, I don't get to play with anybody else's toys, but I'm so excited and down. Honestly, I don't care what someone offers me. If I get that chance, I'm in. So I kind of laugh when these other indie creators who aren't putting out a ton of published work are like, I would never. And like, I appreciate that is part of their scruples, right? Like they won't bend, they won't break. That's not for them. I'm ready to sell out. Not because there's money involved. There still isn't. Doesn't matter what you're writing. Even Tom King, up until he was getting James Gunn money, was probably like, I could probably write a few more for DC. I can pay my mortgage a few more times.
Yeah, literally, DC pitched Wonder Woman to him, and it was like, I guess I'll write Wonder Woman. He did not want to do it. He's on the record saying, I pitch other stuff, and they said, we'll let you write those if you do Wonder Woman.
If you write Wonder Woman, that's exactly the quote I'm thinking of. Because, like, again, I love comics, and to me, those dudes are gods, right? Like the fact that Stephanie Phillips is a mutual of mine, and I can message her on TikTok and go, hey, congratulations for the Daredevil, and she sends me back a thumbs up. Like, she doesn't understand like how big of a deal that is to me, like they're my heroes in so many ways. I got to talk to Mike Oming a little while ago, and he's been a buddy of mine on TikTok for years, and he just treats it like it's normal. I'm like, you understand that I almost cry every time you respond to one of my messages. Like, I started writing comic books after I read The Victories, when he did that, when he did his own creator-owned book for Dark Horse, and I was like, oh, I didn't know superheroes could be like this. And then I read Invincible, and I fell down that rabbit hole. And those people doing that, they're not rich and famous, but to me they're everything.
Right.
I got to meet Mark Waid at Motor City Comic-Con, and I handed him a stack of my books. I'm shaking, I'm so nervous, and no one's at his table. It's Motor City Comic-Con. They're there to see the Screamcast. They didn't care that there was comic book creators there. So his table, honestly, it was more dead than mine, because my wife was there and she's hot. So like, people are lining up at my booth. And so I walk
out your wife.
right 1,000%. Like you know, like listen, that's on me for marrying a hot lady. I understand the consequences.
It's your fault. Exactly.
It's my fault.
It's a burden.
Exactly. It's my burden to bear. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. And so she's watching the booth. I go to talk to Mark Waid. No one's there. He's so kind. And I walk out. I'm shaking. I hand him my books and I go, "Sir, I write comics in no small part because you wrote comics. Kingdom Come," and I'm listing off his entire bibliography, like he doesn't know what he fucking wrote, and he's not being very polite. And I go, "Can I give you these?" And I'm barely holding it together, and he goes, "Only if you sign them for me."
Oh!
And I burst into tears. I signed them through.
Would come out of my body.
Mark Waid is about to make a killing on eBay now that they announced that the Digger is going to be a movie with Tom Cruise. I'm telling you, Mark Waid is about to retire because of you. Right?
Only if he gets his copy of Here Walks Monsters, and if he sells that one, then maybe he's gonna make some cash.
No, but your 10 copies signing, bro, that's like $10,000 right there.
No,
guys, I'm just realizing this now too. So we're talking about the Digger. He doesn't have a copy of the Digger. It wasn't in print yet. He's got a flyer for it. It's laminated, but I realized I didn't have copies for Motor City Comic Con, so he's got a couple of my indie things that I've written for myself, and then a few that I wrote for Mr. Fish Comics, and a few other indie stuff like that signed for me, and then a random flyer for the Digger. It's at the cover of #1, laminated on my sister-in-law's laminator. She's a high school teacher, so she's got this like portable laminator that I took with me to the con.
So, and real quick, how crazy would it be? How crazy would it be if Mark Waid was like, "I'm gonna go buy myself a copy of that book when it comes out," and he went and bought one?
Listen, you think I cried before? Like if I ever find out about that, oh my!
Hey,
God.
Mark, we'll talk. We'll talk.
Did you guys buy? All right, like, did you buy a copy? I'm gonna out you here. Did you pick up his Kickstarter book, his new creator-owned one?
Mark Waid, no, I have not.
It's good. Check it out. It's worth it. But just in case he listens to this, you know, like Mark Waid, you know, he's always thumbing through it. I joke, like people joke about stuff like that. Like obviously he's not that dude. Like for his age, is so tapped in to the comic zeitgeist. Like people forget when he was writing Archie, he was a middle-aged man, and it came across like he was a teenager in high school. Like the fact that he has evolved as many times as he has. This is now a Mark Waid podcast. Like the fact that he keeps reinventing himself, and he never feels stale to me. Like it always feels so fresh. It's so impressive, man. Like it blows my mind that when he comes out with a book, I could go, "Oh, this is a young buck. This dude's 25, 26. Like he's really tapped into what the new readers want to see." And, you know, he's older than my dad. Like, it's so crazy.
That has to be studied because that's a phenomenon that like crosses medias in different art forms, right? Because we know stories of like singers or songwriters or musicians that didn't get tapped into the industry until they were middle age or they were older,
right?
And their music hit with like young people, older people, you know, middle aged people. Like it's just there's people out there that have that ability to make art that relates to just anybody.
It just transcends. And I think that a lot of it too is just skill. Like he's willing to study, he does the work to see what needs to come next. And I think you see a lot of people that look like me getting into comics for many of the normal but there's also
that made me laugh because all right, real quick. Sorry to derail you there. When I was in MegaCon with the 305 ladies doing one of my exclusives, they automatically, when they walked up to the booth, assumed that I was the artist because I had a full beard, long hair, and I'm like, you know, sitting there with the, you know, in front of the workstation. So then they assumed that she, one of the lady, Tina Michelle, shout out to Tina, was the writer. Granted, she is a writer, but they were like, "So you wrote a zombie apocalypse story?" And she goes, "First of all, I could have,
right?
But no, he's the writer. I'm the artist of the cover." And you say that because of, you know, how I look. A lot of us need to do this.
We do. Like I took a picture at Motor City with a bunch of my friends that were there. There was like All Sorrows, who just did Blood Honey, and the new IDW Godzilla Romeo and Juliet book, and like we all look the same. But there's a lot of the like it's just true. But it's because it's so expensive to break into comic books. It's hard to do if you're not 40 years old, right? Like who's got savings? When I talked about having an investor for Hellion and Bash, I was talking to a lot of younger guys who were breaking the comics. They're like, "How do you find an investor?" I'm like, "Be 40. If you're 40, you will be with savings accounts. Like that's how it works. Like, and I'm 40. I'm not afraid to ask people for money. Like I broke that out of me, 20 years ago.
In your 20s, yeah. Worrying about being cringe or embarrassed. That's in your 20s. That doesn't matter when you're yeah.
Exactly. You have a kid, like you get it. Like once you're a parent, it's like, there's no shame left in my body. I gotta feed those fuckers, and it's expensive. And so like I have no ego. Like I often get people who want to give me advice in comics, and I don't listen. Not because I don't take criticism well. I don't take advice from people I'm not impressed by.
Absolutely.
And so like there's fewer and far between amount of people who I want to take advice from. But when those people do give me advice, I listen and I pay attention. And I get the opposite stuff from the people who I don't always respect. And people ask me if it takes like a thick skin or whatever. And the thing is, I just can't care. It just does not matter to me, because the only thing that matters is feeding those little ones. And that hot wife I mentioned, as long as she likes the comic, as long as she wants me to keep making another one, I'm good to go. And so far it's paid off. Like the publishers like it, the audience seems to dig it, you guys like it, who are critics that I do listen to. Like if you guys came to me with like, hey, listen man, issue 1 was dope, but issue 2, I would have to go home and think about it a little bit, so like I try not to worry about it so much. But that's the superpower of being as old as I am, as being a dad. Like having that world outside of the internet space has made it a little bit easier for me to get on there. And I do have young people tell me I'm cringe. I do have people go like, okay, the millennial pause and every single one of your videos, 6'7". Like, I'm tired of your catchphrase, bro. And I'm like, yeah, but you know me, bro. Because
right. Oh,
like that's
you tired of my Mr. Wilson act? Yeah, but you're talking about it, ain't you?
You're talking about it.
You're talking about it, ain't ya?
And there it is. It took a minute, but it popped up.
Exactly, man. I was thought about, I'm like, should I do the whole interview like this? Like, but like, there's a couple of young dudes who are coming up right now that are dialed in a way that I never could have been, because they got into it so much younger. Like All Sorrows, who I was just talking about, doing Romeo and Juliet plus Godzilla and Blood Honey for IDW. That dude's going places. That dude's going to be doing every single DC book you can think of in 6 months. And then Braden Boyd of Shape Comics. I don't know if you guys have read Shape Man or know of Shape Man. He's pitching a new book right now. It's going to be at one of the big publishers. And that dude is going places. And these are guys that got in before me, even on social media, doing their thing, putting out their indie books and hustling. And now it's already paying off for them. And I would say jealous is the wrong word. I am jealous of them, but I am so proud of them too. As like a dad, like I talk to them every once in a while, because they're already too big to talk to me. And I don't know how to relate, like just how awesome they're doing. And I think because they're in it, it's a lot like me with the Digger, right? It's hard to accept, but there's just so many people who I'm watching. I'm like, I'm so in awe of, because even now that I'm writing comics and publishers are paying me to do it, and maybe I'll get the chance to do more books, I'm still a fan first. So every time I talk to these indie people, right? And they're like willing to talk about my book or tell me the thing that they're working on, I'm like, oh, I have the inside scoop from this creator who's working with IDW. And like, they don't see it like that. But to me, they're still giants. They're all just giants. And I love that there are people coming up who care about comics, because that's the thing they tell you in every generation. That comics are dying. No one cares about it. There's no new readers. And then you see younger people jumping into it before they're 40, and they're crushing it, and they're going to outlast all of us because their knees still work, and they didn't have to.
Hey, I got half a working knee.
Yeah, well, you got one. Like, that's not the same. If I asked you to go jump off something, you're done.
Back it up, B. Back it up, B. Half a knee is no. It might as well be no knee.
I got knee braces. I got knee braces and Ben Gay. I can do this.
That's
on,
what
let's-
so, like, I'm teaching my son how to skateboard right now. He's 8, and he's like, "Dad, you skate?" And I was like, "No, I skated." Past tense. Like, so I showed him how to do an ollie, and I couldn't walk the next day. Like, I was like, I'm done. Like, and it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that high of a pop.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I went up over the sidewalk, and I was like, we have to go home now. Like,
Dude,
I'm not making it if I don't.
I told here, I literally twisted my ankle stepping in my kitchen.
You're just walking. It's just a dangerous game.
I wasn't
at this point in our
performing any
lives.
acrobatics. I literally took a half an inch step to my right and was like, "Oh God, whoa, my damn ankle!"
Oh my god! So I'm sorry I turned this into a Mark Waid fan cast and talking about being old. Is there anything I can answer about the Digger? I feel I derail every show I've ever been on, not just with you guys. Every time I come on here, and like
I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell you something. We didn't brainstorm anything for this episode.
No.
We didn't line out anything. We didn't sketch anything. We didn't pencil anything because we knew what time it is. We know.
Hold on.
You know
what's
that,
up.
yeah.
I'm going to take it one step further. I didn't even take notes.
I appreciate that, man.
No, and
like, I was just on. Go ahead.
I absolutely love when I feel like our podcast. While we do talk about, and do cover a lot of like real comic book podcast stuff, we're more of just a hangout, nerds talking, and I have no problem letting the conversation get derailed, especially when it's been as entertaining as one we've had so far. But that being said, since you mentioned it, because I was not going to say shit for the record, I was going to let it keep because I was having a blast. But since you mentioned it, let's start talking about the Digger. Only an hour in, but okay.
Year, did you have something to add? I'm so sorry.
No, I was gonna talk about the Digger.
Listen, like, I do this on every show that I'm on. So, like, not that this show isn't big, but I was on the Comic Book Yeti podcast, which is a pretty popular one, and it was kind of on the bucket list of shows to be on. And because I am me, I couldn't just talk about the Digger, which probably would have served my career much better. But for about 50% of the time, I'm talking to Jimmy, the host over there, about chicken wings because he mentioned chicken wings. And I was like, I fucking love chicken wings. Let's talk about it.
And it was off. It was off the races.
It was, and I'm so sorry that I do that. But like, I'm a middle-aged dad. I don't get a chance to talk to many adults. I write comics and talk to little ones. That's my whole job. I got to keep them alive. Every once in a while, I'll talk to my son about Power Rangers, but that's the extent of an adult conversation that I get. Because I say adult because I'm not a little kid about Power Rangers. I take that shit very seriously. I've been watching it for 30 years.
As you should.
Power Rangers is modern day mythology. Don't let anybody else.
They fucking yes.
Don't
yes.
Don't let anybody. Do not let anybody disrespect Power Ranger mythology, okay?
I brought it up to my son because they're trying to reboot it at Disney again. And I'm explaining to him the eras because it was, Fox Kids and then Disney and Nickelodeon. And he's just enthralled. I'm like, finally, he gives a shit about what I'm talking about. Like, I tapped into it. I have the knowledge. He's old enough to receive it. This is perfect. But anyways, so I wrote a fucking comic book. It's called The Digger. Issue 1 came out last month. It's basically What If Indiana Jones Hunted Short Round. Issue 1 is that story that you never got in Indiana Jones about him meeting Short Round, and the kid pickpockets this American guy, and it ropes him into a job because his grandma's sick and he needs to pay for her treatment, and he's poor. His dad passed away. He's got nobody but his grandma, and she's dying. So he takes this job with this American. He's going to show him where these Olmec ruins are in 1930s Veracruz, Mexico. He's a kid and he's not thinking about or listening to any advice. He doesn't understand that this American is a dangerous guy and he doesn't share. And that's basically the crux for the entire book. Issue 2 just came out on Wednesday. It's also selling out because people didn't believe in me. That's the real thing. You want your book to sell out, be an unknown guy, because they're only ordering 10 copies. Really easy to sell out 10 copies. If they would have ordered, absolute Batman numbers, we'd be having a different conversation. I'd owe some people some money.
You know what's funny is you and me had this conversation when I sold out from my first print of my book because I only did 350 because I'm just by myself. I have no publisher. So I was like, I sold out. You were like, oh, I'm so jealous. I was like, all right, first of all, like, it's a huge achievement. I'm not saying it isn't, but it's still only 350. Like,
Well,
let's be
that's
real. If I would have ordered 1,000, I'd still have copies. All right, like,
that's fair. I mean, that's what I sold on Tokyo Fire, my first indie book. Like, it was about 300 copies, and that took a year to get through. Like, that wasn't from the Kickstarter. That was over going to cons and shows and selling online and stuff, and getting on like the TikTok shop and whatnot. So like that takes a while. This book doing like I can't talk about like specific numbers. I don't have them, but thousands of copies have been sold out from distribution, and from what I understand, selling through at shops too, because people are having a hard time finding issue 1 now. So the fact that thousands of copies sold of issue 1 has blown my mind a little bit, because I've never sold that many of anything to anybody. I don't know 1,000 people, you know, like I got 2,000 followers on TikTok, and I'd say 50% of those are Russian, you know, hot lady bots. You know, at least 50%. It might be 75. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the followers until they comment something. Usually it's, hey baby, like message me. But sometimes they'll message other stuff. So like the fact that it sold thousands of copies is wild to me. And then issue 2 is selling out now, and issue 2 is they're finally on the road. This is where they hit the road together, the digger and the kid. They're going through some oil fields, and they got to deal with the ramifications of what the digger did in issue 1.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. We're not gonna spoil issue 2. We can spoil issue 1 because it's sold out, right?
Sure,
if you want to read it, you're gonna have to, I don't know, reach out to TS and buy it from him.
Don't buy $100 issues on eBay. Don't do it unless they're signed and the movie's coming from Nerdtooine.
So
wait, I'm not a producer. Shit. All right, let's.
Issue 1 sets the universe. It's a timepiece. It's in Veracruz. It has it shows you the landscape of the world. Like, you know, there's a lot, you know, Harkin puppy people. There's this village of, you know, people from all walks of life in this country, you know, trying to get by. This one kid runs into a foreigner, basically pickpockets the wrong guy, right? Because this Indiana Jones, quote unquote, it's actually kind of like violent, kind of like murderers. Like he's on a mean streak, right?
Kind of likes murders, like the way. Yes, he does murder, but he likes to do it.
Right. And here's the thing. In issue one, you get a bad guy that is doing bad things for the sake of it. You just know that he's trying to get to these ruins, and he'll kill, beat, torture anybody to get the information he needs to get to those ruins. You don't know what the motivations are. You don't know what's driving him. You don't know even why he's in country. You know he's a foreigner, but you know he's violent and he's dangerous. And the kid should not help him, but he does. Right?
Kids, any kids listening, you shouldn't be listening to this show anyways, but just in case you hear it in the background.
No, it's fine. We haven't dropped any F-bombs. We haven't dropped
a whole bunch
of
F-bombs. What are you fucking talking about?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. We're not counting. We don't count them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to announce them, remember? Yeah. So
I didn't put the numbers up. My fault. Fuck.
Issue 2 comes out. Issue 2 came out this week. If you need some convincing, go to Nerd Initiative, look up the reviews for the 1 and 2. I wrote them myself, check them out. If you need some convincing to like jump on this book, right? It might be too late because I already got auction. Tom Cruise is gonna be playing the digger, but anyway. So issue 2,
and I'm
like T.S. Luther was saying, they're on the way to the ruins, right? And then conflict happens. They run into the site in workers, and they get caught trying to like break into a building. And for a moment, and this is what Nerdtooine was talking about. We know, right, from issue 1 that this guy is violent. We saw it with our own eyes. Right. This is the bad guy. This is part of the premise of the pitch. Like, you know this. But for a moment, he'd being like cordial, nice to the kid. And when they get caught by like all these workers, before they get jumped, he goes, "Kid, run away. I'll take care of this." And you're like, oh, he might not be like a bad guy entirely. Maybe there's a reason why he was murking people, right? Maybe there's a reason why all of these things were happening, blah blah blah. Like it puts that seed in your mind,
See,
And
possible
you gotta have
deniability,
it.
right?
and
Right,
Yeah.
for
possible
me, like,
deniability, or the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe those guys that he murdered were worse
Maybe they
people,
gotta come
right?
in. And
so
like
like
that's because that's the
Maybe
thing.
I looked
maybe
at
they
it
scanned him. Maybe they scanned
Right.
him. They maybe he paid them to take them to the ruins, and they tricked him, and he not having it. You don't know, right?
you
You
got to
don't
think
know,
about it like
You don't
this way
know.
though, because Indiana Jones killed people. And
right?
what do you think that the natives and the locals where he was just killing people would have said about him? So like when I'm reading it and I'm like, all right, this is the bad guy. I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe he's not. Maybe it's just what people think of him. And then you just deliver with the
So
perfect little Easter egg payoff. I was like, oh God, that was awesome.
So like I got a YouTube comment last week. I was doing some ad. I said evil Indiana Jones in the ad, and the comments was like, "Oh, evil Indiana Jones is just that age of archaeology. That's all of them." And I was like, "You get it. If you're critiquing that right now, buy this book. It is
Yes.
for you understand what I'm saying, because the thing is this is Indiana Jones. This is just Indiana Jones with a different light. Because Indiana Jones was that guy. He just had better music. You know what I mean? Like he just like we just like him. You know, like if you look at Indiana Jones,
He has more
stealing
charisma, basically. He has
Right, yeah,
charisma.
And it's
and
Harrison
he's stealing
Ford.
Good
stuff from
looking.
yeah, and he's stealing stuff and he's killing people. He's killing natives. He's stealing their stuff to put it in a white museum. And like even you go further, like Marion was. If you do the math, Marion was not an adult when they hooked up. You know, like so, like Indiana Jones, the bad guy. We just like him. And so, if we're to bend that lens, put just a tiny more realistic lens on it, you're like, well, yeah,
I would
Waid
I would
Academia
push
is
back
bad.
on that. I would push back on that. Sorry. If we wipe the lens and clean it and show the accurate representation of what
Yes,
Indiana Jones is, this is what the Digger is. I'm sorry if you
That was
like going to
beautiful.
museums in America, in England,
in England,
and all you see are like African artifacts, Caribbean artifacts, Taino, Navajo,
They didn't
Cherokee
buy those.
artifacts. Those things were not acquired via fair trade. Let's just put it that way.
and
Okay.
they haven't been repatriated yet. That's the thing that I really wanted to draw attention
Every
to.
single day, an artifact is in a museum. It's a day, another day that its state is stolen,
Exactly, and like that's
stolen,
when I looked up like,
held back from the people that are supposed
exactly.
to own it.
And so like everything that I write is meant to be fun. You're meant to have a good time with it. But I always, if you've made it this far into the podcast, I'm sorry, I'm going to make you eat your vegetables, because that's what I do with those comics. Back when I was doing Hellion and Bash, Tokyo Fire, there's always some theme or message within there. If you're smart enough to pay attention, even if you're not smart enough, that's okay. Maybe you'll learn from it. There's always some vegetables in there. It's a lot of ice cream. It's a lot of chicken wings. You're going to have a good time. But maybe there's something that you can learn from it. And that's the thing with the Digger is, like you said, man, I love that analogy.
Perfect.
Just wipe the lens a little bit on Indiana Jones. Like that really is what White Academia was and still is in a lot of places. Let's not sugarcoat it. Like that is what it is. And I get a lot of people who message me after reading it going, oh, wow, I can tell you're like saying something about how it is now. Like, I'm sure that was on purpose. And I'm like, is it on purpose, or have those things just not changed? Like, is it sad that this kid in the 30s was too poor and couldn't afford medicine? Is that me really trying hard to make it work, or is that just still happening? Right? Like, do I have to try that hard to make these stories relate to us now, or is life still sad for a lot of people? So like there's that level in there where I don't have to try that hard to write an allegory and analogize and come up with these really thought through things, because this shit still happens, and this shit actually happened. Like, this is not that crazy, you know?
Right.
The craziest thing is that they survived that long on this journey, you know? The fact that there's 4 issues is the weird part, because Indiana, like, think about all the dudes at that first temple in the first Indiana Jones book, you know?
Yeah,
like,
no, the body count is crazy. Yeah.
it's crazy, man. Like, so if you enjoy those movies, I promise this isn't going to ruin that. I see that from some people going, "Oh, I don't want that."
Don't get it. Don't get it twisted. The body count on the Digger is the tally is like 10 now. As far as I know, there's 10 bodies getting cold out there somewhere in Mexico. So
There's so much more book, man. There's so much more to see. And listen, I brought this up because people, I got accused of kind of not liking the kid. Like, he goes through so much stuff in this series, and I had to tell them, like, the book's called The Digger. It's not called The Kid. You know,
exactly.
like, it's not like that. So
but
they-
also,
Yeah,
but on
he's not
top
the
of
main
that,
character. Sorry.
even for argument's sake, even if he was the main character, it wouldn't be realistic if you didn't. Like, no, because you got to think about like how, especially in the time period, especially what the setting, that kid, even if he is the main character, is going to go through shit just because he's a kid and he is a minority.
and you
He
got
has
to do
no
what you have to
advantages.
survive,
He has
man.
no
Like,
advantages. He has no leverage. He can't communicate with the digger. Like he's in a lose-lose situation, and he
and like,
doesn't know it yet.
I wasn't his age when I lived down the street. I was like 16, but like I had seen some stuff, and I'm a white dude in like Midwestern America. Like, I was fine. You know what I mean? And even I saw stuff. So imagine this kid who's like going through all that stuff. Of course he's going to see some things. All I have to say is, have you seen Temple of Doom? Did Short Round have a good week, or did that seem like a rough time for him? Was he a slave for a moment? Like, was he getting shot at? Like, did he fall out of a plane?
Yeah,
Because like,
nobody's paying attention because, like I said,
Okie
Indiana
dokie, Dr. Jones.
Yeah. No,
he was
I
having
also
a
want
rough
to. I
time.
also want to throw this in there.
Yeah, man,
The,
hit me.
there's a commentary on the competitive side in like just any any business, any work setting, right?
Sure.
And the commentary on like what are people capable of doing, how far they're willing to go for recognition, for fame, for glory, to be in the spotlight, right? Because you don't actually have the digger say it, but he is like this is the beginning of the issue too. He is at a like let's call it like a ball. They're having like a little party to celebrate the achievements and the contributions to archaeology
Yeah,
to
it's
somebody
an
else.
exhibit unveiling. They're putting up a new
Yes,
exhibit at the museum. Yeah.
yeah, and somebody else gets to be on stage, gets to be praised and applause, and get all that love. And the digger is there, right,
Just
watching from a
watching. Yeah.
distance, and he's not like part of any of that. We don't know if like his work is being stolen or if like somebody's taking credit. We just know he's angry, and even though somebody goes out of their way, out of the party to reach him, and they give them like his due, his credit. It's like, hey, I recognize you. You've done great work. Blah blah blah. He can't hear that because he's paying too much attention on what's being given to somebody else. And that is the makeup of this guy that's willing to go across, you know, state lines or whatever the maps look like back then to murk people to get something so he can get the glory or the recognition or the fame or the status that he thinks he deserves. Or
And like,
he,
there
yeah,
is so much of that, like you said, like the competition. I want that, like any of the aspiring comic book writers out there, I want you to know none of that is said in the book, and you got it completely. And like, I see a lot of people go, well, I worry that they're not going to understand. Don't worry, they're going to understand. Your readers are not idiots, and if they are idiots, it's okay. They'll learn something.
and
But like,
again, that none of that is said, but
right, but you picked
Sam's,
up on it, right?
yeah, because Sam's art is so
It's so good.
like
It's so good.
yeah, mind you, like the art style, the paneling, the structure of the pages is great, but what is not being said with words is being like nailed down with the art, with like the framing of a scene, with like the close-ups, the emotional baggage
Yeah, the
that these
character
characters.
acting that he does on their faces is so good. Like, I put a lot of that in the script, but the way that he can pull that off, and like Sam really gets what I'm going for when I write my scripts. And so
Bro,
when I
you
say
two
like,
are like
I know,
if
man,
there's a Venn diagram of like what the artist is getting by and what the writer is putting down, like you guys are like this, you know what I mean? Like
it's been so cool because like when it started with issue 1, like we hadn't worked together before. We liked the cut of each other's jib, we liked our styles, so we wanted to work on it.
beautiful
But we
me.
had-
I when I saw issue 1, I thought it was like these dudes grew up together probably. Like,
well, like that's where we
and you
gel.
just say
Like,
he lives in Russia. Like, how insane?
right,
Is that?
exactly. That's like he grew up in Russia, in middle of nowhere, Russia. It's a lot like middle of nowhere, Michigan. We're both very cold. So like when we like first got together on it, there was not a learning curve necessarily, but I had to see how he was going to bring something to life. But after issue 1, I knew exactly what he would do with what I wrote. So issues 2, 3, 4, so much easier to translate for him, because I know if I put too much real estate on a panel, Sam's gonna message me and go, "Can I make this a page? Like, can this is a wide shot." Like the original map sequence that we have in issue 1 where he's walking through the market, that was 1 page originally. And he goes, no, this is not 1 page. Like that's 2 pages. And so I knew that going into issue 2, issue 3. So like we got that language so easily. By the end, it came so fluid. Right now we're trying to figure out what we want to do next together. Not if we'll do something together again, but what we're going to do together.
Oh no, it's
You
I
have
knew.
to.
Yeah, we knew it. It's like these guys are gonna continue working together because
the problem is he's going to win an Eisner for this book, and he's going to go work for Marvel. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to need to do another book with me.
Yeah, but he won the Eisner from your book. Enough said. No.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In Nerdtooine, I'll pass it on to Hinko. He can tell you, like that language, that back and forward between the writer and the artist is not always there. Even if you like each other, if you love each other as people, as creators, and have a respect for each other, sometimes things get lost in translation. Sometimes
and not only because of different languages too. Like,
yeah, right. Exactly.
Not just the traditional meaning of lost in translation. Like,
right.
I meant that. I absolutely meant
that. That stuff does happen, but like I will say, to Sam's credit, a lot of it is like he's a very professional worker. He gets down to business and he's willing to do the work. Like so much of what we were doing with issue 1 and going forward was, let's do the research. What would a costume look like, or what would a uniform look like on a cop in Puerto Mexico, which doesn't exist anymore? Like that's not what that's called anymore. You know, like that city isn't there. That history, again, being stolen, isn't just in a museum necessarily. So like we did a lot of research going in, and also Sam loves old movies, so do I. So like so much of the Diggers aesthetic is the Sorcerer. I don't know if you guys ever seen Sorcerer, that old movie where they're just trying to get that truck over the bridge, and like so that there's so many things like that where we have the same kind of shorthand from media, because we're both insane nerds who will stay up till 4:00 in the morning until we make sure the money looks right. Like, who cares? The money that you see in issue 1 is the only money you really see in the entire series. And God, if we didn't look up museums in Mexico going, hey, what would this like peso look like? What
currency,
would that be, the currency for this time in 1930s Veracruz? And even they were like,
what?
Oh man, I don't know. Like maybe you can look here. Like we had to go find this stuff.
I'm gonna give you a hint. Whenever you're looking up currency in a country in Central, South, or America or the Caribbean, in the time they were being colonized by the USA, England, France, Portugal, or Spain, those countries will have a record of that. That's the currency, the maps, like I'm assuming this area of Mexico was being colonized at the time, or had been under the influence up to recently by Spain, let's say. So Spain will have in a museum not just the shit that they stole from the natives of that region, but they will have like the currency. They will have like portraits of the architecture of the time. Like the countries that colonize all these places, they keep records. They're very proud of the shit they did. Don't get it twisted.
and they have records of the stuff, the better stuff that they did, right? Not some of the worst stuff they did. And that is how we found a lot of it. But a lot of the backdrop being around like the oil digging and stuff, that's because that's where we got that information. Is I found out, I was like, well, which corporations were there looking for oil? Well, they have stuff. And so like a lot of the shantytown stuff that happened in Puerto Mexico, where we got the ideas for the architecture and everything, that came from me looking up people who had old scrapbooks of their time setting up oil rigs in Mexico in the 30s. Like, oh, my grandpa did that for Pan Am or whatever. And so like there was a lot of stuff like that, and trying to find and dig for some of those answers. But that's the kind of thing that me and Sam both like to do and are willing to do. Not just to make it authentic, but just because that's what's going to make a cooler book. That's what's going to be
That's
better.
what makes a book feel like alive.
Right.
Absolutely. No, when and we talked about this about with Exquisite Corpses last episode, when we were talking about the
I love
tiny
Exquisite
little
Corpses.
details that make it that much better. Like the fact that Pretty Boy grabbed someone else's eye just to put it in his own head,
So,
just
yeah,
so
right.
he's still pretty. What the hell? I mean, no, wow. Like, and little things like that, like, or for instance, like in issue 2, it basically starts off with "they belong in a museum," which is of course a huge shout out to Indiana Jones, and like
I've never
like,
seen it. I didn't know.
never. So like for me, like no joke, like if I would have started with issue 2 and like saw that violent scene at the beginning, I'm like, oh wow, this is cool.
Right.
You would have hooked me hook, line, and sinker again.
It's still really good, right?
with
Like that's
"they belong in a museum." I was like, yep, I'm happy to be reading this right now. Let's fucking
there
go.
was a thought that scene, like, because we always knew why the Digger was there and what we wanted to do with him, but the scene from issue 2 was originally going to be the opening for issue 1. We were going to start there instead of in media res of him already being there, and I was like, no, let's give him a chance. Let's make people care that he's there, and then we can flash back and go, hey, this is why he's actually in Mexico. Can we put up a spoiler tag in some way in post? Can I ask you guys a spoilery question for issue 2 before we end this all out?
Yeah, I could definitely, I could figure something out for sure.
Okay, because I have to ask somebody, and I haven't had the chance, but now that it's out, I can finally ask people. Is it okay if I spoil something for you guys in case you didn't know?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
You have a spoiler warning as of right now. You got 5 seconds. If you still hear in 5 seconds, you cannot complain that we didn't tell you that there was going to be spoilers coming. Let's go.
All right, spoilers for the Digger issue 2. We open up on the museum. A man named Carl Braithwaite gets the credit for the exhibit. That you find out that John Smith, the Digger, was responsible for, right? And then later on in the issue, we see a flashback. He's talking to the kid. They're kind of commiserating about dads. And he goes, yeah, my dad taught me a thing or two. And we see the first time the Digger ever got something for a museum. He's holding up a little like flint arrowhead, basically. And his dad tells him that's a fine. Did you notice that his dad is Carl Braithwaite?
No.
It's because this got brought up to me because to me
no.
it was so obvious because I wrote this damn thing and I wasn't going to explain to anybody. If you notice, you notice, but I was curious because no one's mentioned it, so I was curious if you guys picked that up. You can see he's got the same pipe, it's the same nose, it's all the same stuff. He is Carl Braithwaite's bastard kid that he took in. He was his short round, basically.
Wow, I didn't catch that. Okay, and
you're gonna have me. You're making me read this all over again. I'm
gonna pump the brakes right quick.
Crack open my book.
Yeah, like pop it open, man. Like
this is the shit I'm talking about. Like no, like this is you might get a little uncomfortable because I'm about to be really cheesy. This is shit that I'm talking about with the tiny little details. I'm the type of reader that, like, for instance, since we're in spoiler territory, when he started talking about that knife, I knew immediately he had that knife. Like he killed that guy and he took the knife, but then you tricked me into thinking maybe he didn't, and he's a nice guy. And then I was like, whoa, all right, maybe it's just the lens that we're all seeing it through. He's not really that bad. Whatever.
Maybe it was just a throwaway story. Maybe it was just something
trying to bond or something.
Yeah,
and then
trying to kill the time with the kid. Yeah.
And then you come to the end, and the kid, the way, especially how Sam lined that up too, it's fucking gorgeous. Like I remember, I paused. I was like, "Wow," and then I read it. Like I don't do that often with art that I see. There's a lot of great art, a lot of amazing art that I see out there, but I usually read and then like gather and like soak everything in. That page because the way he has it positioned with especially after the whole build up, that fight. Because you see, like, all right, he's kicking everyone's ass and running away, and then, like, you just see him stalking, snapping the guy's neck. walking up. Do you know who you're with right now? And then like you see the stabbing and everything. I'm like, this is so cool. And then he gets all freaked out. Oh my god! Because the digger throws his bloody hand through the freaking thing, and then he's kind of like shadowed. Like he's got this like dark essence around him. And he keeps talking like, I got you. Yeah, no big deal. And then you see the kid go, oh. And you can see, he's like, yep. He's like, oh. Like the way he like Sam is too talented.
He's just so good, man.
Like
because I can write that. I can write in the script that because Sam messaged me, goes, is the reveal that he has the dagger? Because we see it a little bit the page before. I'm like, no. The reveal isn't that he has the dagger. The reveal is that the kid sees that he has the dagger and puts the story together. And Sam goes, got it. And he knew immediately how to do that. And I love, like you said, the aura that he has, because that's the mystique leaving. That is the kid learning what we all knew since issue 1. That is that like it's catching up to him. How he understands how much trouble he is in now. Because he slaughtered all those guys to save him. So he thinks, but now the kid, like, it's that combo of seeing how bloody it just got. He just watched a guy get his throat slit, but also he understands everything now. He gets why Grandma said that man has the eyes of the devil and how much trouble he's in out here with this guy. And I love that moment. He captured that so well. I couldn't have coached him on anything else, but I'm glad that came across.
Like,
because
I didn't even realize that there was words on the page.
Right.
Like, I literally just stared at it and was like, and then when I got down to the O, I didn't need that. Like, to be 100% honest, you could have left that O off, and that look that he gives back to, especially how it's paneled, you can hear it in your head. Oh, like, he just, I see. You see all the dots getting put together. You were
so
talking,
like every once in a while I get a critique, and not often do I go, that's a bad critique. I don't often do the thing that they ask me to fix, but every critique to me is valid because that's their opinion. The thing that I go by is the thing that Seth Rogen used to say, which is every critique is right, but the way that they want you to fix it is stupid. And that's how I feel every time like a fan gives me a note. I'm like, well, the thing that you don't like is totally fair. The way that you want me to fix it is probably not the best way to go about it. And I got a note a couple of weeks ago going, I don't like that, like, the reveal of the knife isn't at the same time as the kid. I don't understand. Like, it feels wrong. And I'm like, because you don't understand. It's not about the knife. We all you knew when he told the story that he took that man's knife. That guy is crazy. The reveal is that the kid understands now. And worse than that, the digger knows that the kid understands now.
That's what the O is about.
That's what the O is, right?
Yeah.
Like that is
like,
that.
It's not like, you found me.
Basically.
It's not like, you found me.
It's
It's like,
I made a mistake by telling you this story earlier about this, this knife with a dog carved into the handle that I took from somebody.
And I wanted to make a commentary a little bit on the whole Americans stealing, our Indiana Jones of it, because the digger doesn't care who Anubis is. He doesn't give a shit. He wasn't there to learn about Anubis when he was in Cairo. He was there to get some shit. And it's the same thing with the Kaaba exhibit that they're talking about at the beginning, and you see the flashes of the stuff that he took, and what he did to get it. Because that's the thing they don't show you, right? Like, why were all those people chasing Indiana Jones? Who else did he kill on the way there? Like, we all root for him because he kills all those Nazis, right? Which is great. I 100% support that. But he stole lots of stuff not from Germany, Like, there's lots of other things in that museum. How did he get those? And so, like, I wanted to show that a little bit because that's the thing we don't talk about. When there's a new museum exhibit, maybe not so much today, ? But before, when they would get those artifacts, they would just go. There's a saying in that book, and it happens with Carl Braithwaite in the past, where he mentioned, he goes, don't tell me. Nobody asks how. They don't care. They just care that we got it. No, when they go to those museums, nobody goes, how did they get that? They just go, isn't that wonderful? It belongs in a museum. So it's here. This is great. And that's the thing about the digger. I don't want to spoil future issues, but the thing that I've always said about the digger, me and Sam, we were coming up with this character together, was that the digger isn't necessarily a bad man. He isn't necessarily evil, at least how he sees himself. The digger is the guy who gets the job done. He just doesn't care how dirty it gets. That's the difference between him and Indiana Jones. Is like he do whatever it takes, and there's no resolve in him to go, well, this is for a better cause, this is for this. The Digger does what he needs to do, and because he wants his name up there, and his name's not there yet. And that's a lot of what he has going for him in Veracruz. And so, like, that's cool that you didn't notice. This is not I wish more people got that. But that's a little tidbit if you want to tell anybody about that, if anyone reads it or anything like that.
Well, I love that because, and like I told you as we talked offline about how many Easter eggs and things I snuck into issue 2 of my book. And
right.
Like, there was a couple times where my artist kind of was like, do we really have to have this in this scene? And I'm like, no, but we're going to put it there anyways. I was like, all the stuff I'm having you fix are probably things that 90% of people won't notice, but I've noticed it and now I can't unsee it. We need to do it this way. And those little tiny details I feel are lost on a lot of new comics that come out, especially from the big two, because they're rushing things out super fast.
They don't have the time.
They don't, and that's absolutely 100% fair. Every time I talk about how like mine takes so long, and I'm like, I have nobody making me go, you better get this out next month, because I can't. Like, it's just not something I can do. And so I understand, like, they're trying to meet the demand, but I'm just gonna spitballing here. Let's throw something out for a second. Maybe we don't have 5 Spider-Man runs. Maybe we don't have 6 Wolverine runs. Maybe we don't have all these runs, and maybe you could go quality with the artists you have.
Well, how you gonna sell toys if you don't have Spider-Man comics?
So, like, here, Nerdtooine is the Marvel executive next month. He's editor in chief, and he goes, we're doing it away. We're not doing 50 books. We're doing 5. Only one is Spider-Man, one is Stiltman, one is Gold Balls, and the other 2 are Spider-related characters, okay? And
that's Spider-Jason.
Miles and Gwen. And those are the books that are coming out. And people are going to be like, whoa, this is cool. I can keep up. It's like New 52 kind of, but better because it's well written and people are like it. And so, like, we're all excited about this right now. And the second the next quarter happens and your shareholders go, hey, you're down 150%. What are you going to do? Otherwise, we're going to fire you and you're never going to be able to make another comic book again, no matter what level.
Fucking fire me.
The thing that you say that, but they want to make another comic book. Maybe you'd be okay with it. They want to make another one. So they go, how can we fix this? The first suggestion you're going to get, let's make another Spider-Man book. And better yet, let's put out 2 more Spider-Man book. It's the same thing at DC. We're going to start over. We're going to start fresh. They have a bad quarter. They go, how many Batman books can we feasibly put out next month?
They open their file, or like in the old days, they would like flip up
the Rolodex
and see, okay, we lost. We didn't reach our projected sales on last quarter. Okay, look into the Batman pitches and just grab 2 from there and greenlight them.
And that's exactly it.
The Batman,
and that's why Exactly. That's how you end up with, Batman Forever and Batman Annual and Spectacular Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man and Web of Spider-Man and the notorious
Spider-Verse.
Oh, like Spider-Boy.
Spider-Man.
Do you think Spider-Boy happened by accident? No, like that's. And here's the thing: I'm a comic book reader. I'm going to read all of them because I love it and I love the soap opera of it all. But it's hard. It's hard to keep up, and that's why. No more spoilers. You should pick up The Digger issue number 1 and 2 because there's only 4 issues. They won't give me 50. You don't have to keep up with the cinematic universe of The Digger because no one will give me another book. No one's dumb enough to write this stuff. You know how much research we did for this freaking book? It's crazy. You ever seen a grown man who reads comic books go to a museum? It's wild. And it's hard to do, and I did it, okay? I read so many nonfiction books to prepare for this book. So do me a favor and go pick up issues 1 and 2. Pre-order issue 3. This is going to be out as a podcast before FOC, or after FOC, right? This goes live on Sunday. Okay, so you have 1 day left. You have 1 day left to pre-order The Digger issue 3 at your local comic book shop. They're going to say, what the heck is a T.S. Luthor? Who is Invader Comics? Why is Gamora? Like, get them to get The Digger. I promise it's good. And there's only 4 issues. I don't know when issue 4 is going to come out because I think, crossing our fingers, issue 3 is going to come out, and then we're going to do a reprint for issue 1 and 2. So if the demand stays like it is, we'll get another printing, and then we'll do issue 4 to give everybody a chance to catch back up, and then we're gonna do a trade of it. So you still have time to jump on the coolest book that no one's ever heard of, except for these two guys, because they know what they're talking about. All right, like listen to them. Don't listen to this guy. Listen to them and go pick up the Digger because
Let's bring your four circle here. Listen. FOC is Monday. What's the actual date? March
9th.
March 9th. Pre-order issue 3. Contact Luther directly. TS Luther everywhere pretty much, and buy issue 1 from him, and go to your local comic book store and buy issue 2, because by the time issue 5 comes out, they will fully announce the movie. No, by the time issue 5 comes out, between issue 5 and the trade, they're gonna announce that the Digger got auctioned. Tom Cruise is gonna be the leading actor, and you're not gonna be able to find this book anywhere. It's gonna be going for thousands of dollars on eBay, and even those are gonna sell out. You're only gonna find Waid's laminated print of the cover of the Digger, and that's gonna be too pricey for you to purchase. You don't want to be that guy that destroys their life savings because they're trying to, keep up with the Joneses a day later in a buck short. Okay,
man, I'm gonna have to sell off all of my Here Walks Monsters just to keep up. Goddamn,
that's the only way you're gonna be able to get your hands printing, man.
But
we're gonna go absolute Batman like this. We're gonna do it like 10 reprintings of issue 1. No, I think they're on 11 right now. I think I heard 11 printings for Absolute Batman. 12? Oh my god, that is wild. That is so crazy.
That's too many. I'm sorry.
Did you get a copy of issue 1? I read it. I was late on it. I read it on DC Universe. I have an issue 2 first printing, but I read issue 1 on DC Universe. I have a Batman annual though. I don't know if that one ever got reprinted.
It did.
Okay, that's crazy.
My absolute Batman
annual reprinting? No, nothing. That never happens. They never reprint annuals. That's so wild, man.
I'm so happy to
multiple
say that
multiple covers.
Number 1 is at CGC right now.
Oh, really?
So hopefully that bad boy comes back in 9/8.
You're gonna have to sell that to make Here Walks Monsters 3, man. Like that's how it's gonna go.
Listen,
you joke,
go.
Right? But like we joke. So it's a 4-issue miniseries. 4 and done. If for some reason it wins well, if like I said, if Sam gets an Eisner for his art or something, listen, we're not above it. We're issue number 5. The Digger goes to space. The Digger takes Manhattan. We're gonna do
the Fast and the Furious franchise went to space. This can go anywhere.
No. Here's an idea. Retroactively, tell us the story of the Digger in Cairo taking that 9 from that guy.
Oh yeah, there's some good stuff. We had that was one that already got pitched because so full behind the curtain, Invader goes, "Hey, it's good. We like it." They're such cool guys. They were like, "We're gonna do all 4 issues, even if issue 1 flops. We don't care. We like the book." And that's why I tell people, give Invader a chance because they're awesome. And I really appreciated that. But when issue 1 sold out, they're like, so hypothetically, is there another story in here maybe that you guys could tell? And that was the first one that we talked about. We're like, well, we could go to Cairo. We could talk about the knife. We could show them where he got the other stuff. And then there's the Kaaba exhibit story.
That's retroactively, right?
Right.
In the future, you can continue that vicious cycle where the Digger got taken and turned into like this world. The kid is the next Digger.
You don't know the kid makes it to the end. I think you're remember the book's not called The Kid. The book's not called The Kid. You don't know if he makes it to the end.
The Digger can be just like a mentor, right? Like
no.
Now, and the next generation is gonna be the kid. He's gonna be the Digger. Like nobody's breaking the cycle.
Gonna resurrect him like the Mummy.
Do you remember that really terrible adaptation of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Yes.
Do you remember how it ends after the credits? Did you ever watch all the way through the credits? Of Alan Quartermain busting out of the grave like Spider-Man because there was a voodoo doctor doing stuff over his grave? So dumb. The worst possible, dude. But
it was like for me, like that actually struck a chord because there is a market, in my opinion, for stuff like that. Like, it's so cheesy and bad that I find so much entertainment
Oh,
out of
I
it.
loved it as a
It's
kid.
one of my
I had
favorite
never read. I didn't
movies.
know it was based on a comic book. I read
Right?
the comic book. And I said, "Oh, this is a good story. This is what this should have been."
Right. No, and all jokes aside, when it comes to the Digger, you've created something very special here. And
thank
anyone
you.
who's still listening or sees this clip later, I don't blow smoke just to blow smoke, but there are very few creators that I am actually jealous of their abilities, and TS is one of them. I tell you all the time, I'm like, I was genuinely mad at you for about 5 to 10 minutes with the way this issue ended because it was so good. I was like, damn, I haven't even thought of writing something that good. Like,
that means
it
a
was
ton,
just
man.
so well done. The art is absolutely stunning. The use of the grayscale and the choice coloring with golds and reds and, like, to show blood or fire. It's really something that, while we all know about Indiana Jones, this feels so original. It feels like it's such a worthy original property. Like, this book should have been done what Dork did, if you ask me. Like,
No, listen, but Dork was awesome though, right? Like we can all talk about that. Like
it's
that deserved what it
okay.
got. And speculators suck, and they're gonna ruin the market like they did in the '90s. I'm happy Dork is at least benefiting from it because I love that book. But
yeah, we talked about that for a while last episode. I mean, but yeah, definitely reach out to your LCS, tell them you want to pre-order Digger 3, and to bring it back full circle one more time, when in terms of actually buying, getting reprints, people don't understand how crucial that really is, because when, like, especially when you're trying to do a trade, no publisher in their right mind is going to do a trade for a book that doesn't sell.
no.
Simple
And
as that. So if you're the type of person
I'm
that's like,
so
oh,
small. Like,
I only read trades. Well, guess what? For a
You
really
can't have
good
trades
indie
without
book,
singles.
you can't
You
do
can't
it without
have
singles.
trades without singles.
It's just not
we
possible.
talked about that a lot. Like I understand when people are going to trade weight for something like Exquisite Corpses, right? Like James Tynion is the biggest creator. I love James Tynion. That book's going to get to trade though, right? Whether you pick up the single issues or not.
Correct.
Support who you want to support. But if you do like an indie book, do your best to get a floppy copy, and if you can, pre-order that floppy copy, because we're not all big enough to get there. Like I said, I message Invader Comics often, not because they don't believe in me, not because I don't think that they want to make issue 3 and 4, but because they're small enough. If issue 2 didn't sell well enough, maybe they don't have the financials to get to issue 4.
Yeah,
I don't know.
at the end of the day, Invader is small. They got to pay the bills. They got employers, and it takes money. It takes money. It takes making money back.
It takes
to keep the lights on. To keep the lights on. So,
and I'm not the only book that they're putting out. So,
Yeah.
if you like The Digger, if you like anything that you heard here, please do me a favor and go pre-order it. And if you like other indie books, pre-order it. Talk about them at your LCS. You don't understand how many comic book shops don't know about indie comics. That's not what they have their eye on because they don't have the time. So, most comic book shops had not heard of Invader Comics before The Digger. That was not a thing that they cared about. We were not in their mouth. Nobody was talking about it. Now that you made a difference. If you're listening to this podcast and you pre-ordered the book, you guys made a difference talking about the book. It really does help. And I don't think that people understand how much the conversation moves the needle. Comic books is not a giant business. It actually really is a really small audience by comparison to any other medium of art. And so, I like to talk about, there are not hundreds of millions of comic book fans buying comics. That's just not how it works. And so, when people are talking about it, the fact that we sold thousands, that's huge. You know, there are image books that didn't sell that month.
Yeah.
And so I'm so proud of it, and I'm so thankful to you guys and the audience that did pick it up. So please keep it up. There's 2 more issues that we can get out here. There's so much more digging that you can get to. There's literal digging in issue 3. I know I promised.
Wait,
more
what?
There's a literal hole in issue 3. Okay.
Oh no.
He's got
That's
a
it. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, man. It's about to go down. Literally, they're digging. So.
Oh, gotta love the dad jokes.
I can't help it.
I know. I mean it. I'm sincere saying I gotta love the dad jokes.
I love you guys. I do have to bounce, so I'm going to go early. Please follow me on everything. I'm at TS Luther. I know, right? We talked for 4 hours. I'm TS Luther on everything. Follow me. I promise if you message me, I respond. I'm not famous. I will do it, and I don't sleep. So you're bound to get a message eventually. I'm just up writing more comic books or reading all of the amazing reviews that Year puts on every single site. I was scrolling through League of Comic Book Geeks and Year's defending me in the comments. I'm like, dude, you're the best. Like, what are you doing? Did I pay you somewhere? I didn't know. Like, I love you guys.
You paid us by making the great comic. That's what you did.
Man,
You deliver. You deliver. You deliver. That's my
thank
payment.
you so much,
So,
man.
the rest is up to us. We'll take care of it.
Get him, Spider-Man. Oh man, but thank you so much, guys. Please have me on again. I will message you both.
Oh,
offline.
trust me. If you think for 1 second you're not coming back for issue 3, you got another fucking thing coming, buddy.
Yeah,
But
I will be there
for that
with
movie
bells.
announcement. Don't book anybody. You come
we
here
get first.
Yeah, we got first dibs.
You'll be my first spot. You just let me know. I heard you were booked out till June though, so I don't know.
We'll make room. We'll make room.
We'll kick him to the curb.
You, Tom Cruise, and I think Cameron Diaz was the other person that was floating around there.
You and Cameron Diaz on this show. You better have me on. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, all right, hold on.
We all gonna be here. For the movie announcement.
TS gotta go. We will keep him here forever. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you very soon. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Take it easy.
Bye.
All right. So that was TS Luther, one of our. We granted, obviously we like the guy. We had him on now second time, but I, as a person, love him. As a creator, respect him. He is so good at what he does, and this team that he has with Sam making this the Digger, it's absolutely next level. And if you're not picking this up for whatever reason, I feel like you're really doing yourself a disservice, because the Digger 1 and Digger 2 so far, this is honestly, I like Digger 1 and 2 more than I like almost any other book I've read in the last year. The only one really that I'm putting above it is Exquisite Corpses and maybe Do Not Disturb. Do Not Disturb is right there. I haven't read issue 2 yet, so I can't really say for sure. But like for me, they like neck and neck. And this is
we're gonna have them on the next episode.
Yes.
So we'll talk about issue 1 and issue 2 over there.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna interview the creators. We never had them on before. We haven't really talked to them like that. So come back. Pick up the Digger, check out Do Not Disturb as well, also from Invader Comics, and be back for the next episode where we are going to have the creators of Do Not Disturb here for as long as we can.
just to get a quick little production note about that episode, that will be next week. We usually do bi-weekly, but I mean, I haven't announced it anywhere technically officially, but I am going to actually be going to MegaCon this year again. I didn't get an exclusive at the official convention, but we do have a Here Walks Monsters done by Jamie Tyndall. We have 3 covers going to be there. You can order it through the distributor. We'll have all that information below. But so again, next week, so back-to-back weeks, you have 2 fantastic interviews from great creators who are creating awesome books through Invader Comics right now. We'll have both because the Do Not Disturb has 2 writers, and one of the writers is also the artist. So we're gonna have both of them on.
David R. Flores and Gerard Hunter Rome. That's the creators.
They're gonna both be on. We're gonna talk all things Do Not Disturb. I'm sure we'll get into a little bit about Invader as well. But you know, we're almost 2 hours in. Like it seems to be like our normal time frame. So if you're still here, if you're still listening, I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. This podcast has done so much for me, just in terms of being able to talk to Year about these books and having people actually start watching the clips, watching the videos. It means so much to us. We're not asking you for money. We're not ever, that's not what we're doing. We're not like, hey, you must subscribe so we can get, no. If you're here to listen, we love it. And on that note, Year, you got any final thoughts?
No, man, I'm tapped out.
And that's it. We're throwing in the flag. We're done. Until next time, my friends, you stay nerdy.